but you must choose a political party that you agree with mostly. You do more reading, and then you try to fit some sleep in there. So you care about them and their family. That's the most important thing that people want to see in their politicians. My name is Rod Loyola. I'm the MLA for Edmonton Ellerslie, and currently we are in the Edmonton Ellerslie constituency office. Politics is a way of serving the community, and so much of the day-to-day issues, concerns, problems that people have solutions for them. But often the people who are in positions of power and privilege, because they haven't lived the reality of many people, they'll make decisions based on their own reality and their own experience. But being a representative of the people means getting to know the people and making sure that we're making policies that are for the benefit of the people. That's why politics. Yeah. I often tell people that there's no political party that you're going to agree with 100%, but you must choose a political party that you agree with mostly, with all of their policies. I'm someone who, for the most part, agree with almost every NDP policy that we put forward. And that's why I feel really comfortable and within really a family inside of the Alberta NDP. Human rights is very important because all over the world, there are individuals who are struggling and they have their human rights disrespected, trampled on. Some even lose their lives because they are fighting for the rights of their community. And those struggles are very important to me. And those same struggles are occurring right here in Edmonton, in Alberta, and in Canada. So there's many human rights issues that I care very deeply about, but most of them have to do with the collective rights of healthcare, education, housing. Those are the ones that are really important to me, and I think that we need to make more advances on here in Canada. MLAs do a number of things, but in a quick summarized list, I can give you debating bills. So being very knowledgeable on all the bills that are coming across the legislature is very important. Advocating for your constituents, so making sure how those bills are going to impact the people that you represent, and then being their voice inside of the legislature is very important. Number two, though, is helping the people who have actual issues and concerns and problems that come in through your constituency office on a regular basis. And then number three is always be connecting to the community. One of the things that I disliked very much before becoming elected was that politicians would only show up at election time. And so I strive to be one of those politicians that is always present in the community, attending events, door knocking, phone calling, always being in contact with the people that I represent. Typical day depends on the time of year, but of course, it's a lot of reading. And so you either do that at night or in the morning when you have some time, and then it's off to the legislature, preparing for the legislative sessions. So sometimes getting questions ready, member statements, then debating inside of the House, then coming back to the constituency office to have meetings with constituents who have issues and whatnot. And then in the evenings, mainly during the week, but also the weekend, is full of activities that community organizations are putting together. So it's important to attend those events on a regular basis. And then if you have any free time at the end of the day, you do more reading, and then you try to fit some sleep in there. Number one is the amount of people that I get to learn from, because everybody has a different perspective in life. And of course, I have my own perspective, but I'm not here to represent myself. I'm here to represent my constituents. So learning everybody else's perspective is really important to me, so that I get to know that how to represent best my constituency. So the more people I talk to, the more perspectives I'll have, and then I'll have a better idea of how to represent them in the Alberta legislature. I have many things I'd like to change, but one of the most important ones is the level of education that people have access to. Because you can have the finest universities in the world, but if only 10% of your population actually enters into those institutions, then it's not going to have as much of an impact as if everybody who wants to be able to go to university or a post-secondary institution has access. So making sure that good quality education at the post-secondary level is accessible is very important to me. So making sure that tuition stays low is one of the priorities of the Alberta NDP. It's a priority of mine as well, and one that I want to continue working on. Sometimes your safety and security can be compromised, And putting yourself out there and being a politician, being a public figure means that you can be the target of hate sometimes. So you have to learn how to get a real thick skin and know that some people, when you're targeted for hate speech or you're targeted for whatever reason it could be, you just have to have a thick skin. But there are times when you can actually have your security invaded, and then those are kind of the scary parts. But other than that, that doesn't happen too far in between. It doesn't happen very often. But if you were to get into this, into being a politician, it's something that you have to be very aware of. And it not only impacts you, but it impacts your family as well. Ooh, I have lots of them, but I would say there was one constituent that I advocated for a special drug that he needed. It was a life-saving drug. I advocated on his behalf in the legislature, and eventually the government of Alberta decided to put that drug on the list of drugs that the Alberta government would cover. And now he's able to take that drug, and he's a constituent that, if he wouldn't have had access to that, would have had a very debilitating lifestyle and maybe even have died. And so that one, that opportunity to advocate on his behalf was very rewarding. We got it done, and now he's leading a really great life with his child and his wife, and so it's a happy ending. I would say that my favorite part is connecting with everybody, but I would say young people is the best one, because for me it's very important that we create a culture of people understanding that their elected representative is not someone who's on a pedestal, not someone who's out of reach. A politician and an elected representative should be someone that you should feel is accessible, a humble person that is willing to listen. And so for me, it's really important that young people know that, so that they go to their elected representatives regularly to voice their opinion, and then also learn how you can actually change the system along with your elected representative. So that's the most important for me. For an aspiring politician is to pick one or three issues that you care about deeply, and then introduce yourself to the community that is impacted by those issues. And then try your best, number one, to be as educated as possible about that issue. By meeting with people, you'll understand what are the solutions the people are seeking. And by putting all of that together, then you can start advocating on behalf of the people that you want to represent. And so that people see you as someone who cares deeply, not only about the issue at hand, but you care about them as people. So you care about them and their family. That's the most important thing that people want to see in their politicians. So we have a scarcity of public facilities. So a recreation center, for example, in Edmonton, Ellerslie, we don't have an a branch of the Edmonton Public Library. We need more high schools in Edmonton, Ellerslie, although one was just recently built on the border. But we need a new high school in the southern part of the district, which is something that I've been advocating for a very long time. But yeah, I would say more public facilities so that people can have access to a recreation center, schools, these kinds of things. That's the most important part.